All right, call hello, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone over well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and blessings to and sincere brothers and sisters doing this, wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. All right, the last video, I kind of stumbled on something of my own. This is nothing new, I'm sure, to anybody that is well learned and well studied, but I kind of stumbled on this on my own in my last video, and the Spirit just kept pushing me to look more, look into it, and so I did, and it's the word propitiation. All right, so this is Romans 3 and 25. All right, Strong's G 2435, Hilasterion, and okay, we'll read this here. 1a. Used of the cover of the ark, which the covenant in the Holy of Holies, which sprinkled with the blood was sprinkled with the blood of the expiatory victim on the annual Day of Atonement. This rite signifies the life of the people, the loss of which they had merited by their sins, was offered to Yahweh in the blood as the life of the victim, and that Yahweh by this ceremony was appeased. Okay, and then I did pull on the last video how it pleased the Lord to bruise Yahushai, and that's in Isaiah. But I went in a little further and made some notes for myself. Okay, so the other mention in the New Testament is Hebrews 12 and 24 about Yahushai, the sprinkling of the blood, because he has always been here from Abel, and I'm not going in any chronological order, but from Abel to Melchizedek, through the priesthood of Aaron, because remember John said, I must decrease and he must increase. Yahushua has always been here, and it has always been about him. The law and the way that things were set up in those times prior to him coming as Yahushua were just a shadow of things to come. All right, roughly paraphrased. So let's get Leviticus 16. Actually, we're just gonna go. Yeah, we'll skim through Leviticus 16 just so you can see how it was then and how Yahushua took that over, because it was always about him. All right, he has the priesthood after the order of Melchizedek, and just like Melchizedek was the mediator between Abraham and the Lord when he paid his tithes. All right, you had the Levites, who are the mediators, or were the mediators in that old covenant between the rest of the children of Israel and the Most High, going into the temple. And if you don't know, you get the illustrated, the book is called The Illustration of Bible Mannerisms and Customs, something like that. And that's what it looks like. And this page 102 goes into the how the high priest on the Day of Atonement. Okay, and if you read through this, it says that the priest would do the atonement first for his sins and his family, and then the rest of the nation. Okay, so you can snapshot that and read that. All right, so let's scroll through. Where was the point that I wanted? So it is 16 and 13 through 16. So we'll just scroll down. All right, take the center of the bull. And it also talks about how the scapegoat, one is sacrificed and the other is the scapegoat. But we're strictly dealing with the sacrificial lamb, or the sacrificial bullock. All right, so this is reading from 13. And he shall put the incense upon the fire before the Lord, that the cloud of the incense may cover the mercy seat that is upon the testimony, that he die not. And he shall take of the blood of the bullock and sprinkle it with his fingers upon the mercy seat eastward, and before the mercy seat shall he sprinkle the blood with his fingers 7 times, right? That number of completion. Then shall he kill the goat of the sin offering that is for the people, and bring his blood within the veil, and do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it upon the mercy seat and before the mercy seat. He shall make an atonement for the holy place because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, and because their transgression and all their sins, so shall he do for the tabernacle of the congregation that remaineth among them in the midst of their uncleanness. So we'll go straight to Hebrews 12, because it's that same blood. So Yahushua was that last and final sacrifice. And you can read Hebrews 10, and the title of that in your Blue Letter Bible is going to be, verbatim, it says Christ or Jesus is sufficient, is a sufficient sacrifice. But we understand that Yahushua is his name, all right, meaning he delivers, or he is the deliverer, and that is what he did. He was the last sacrifice, and through his blood, all of the nation will be saved. Now, 2/3 of our people are cut off, but that remnant will remain blameless through the blood of Yahushua, and through that remnant, that 144,000, the entire nation is saved. All right, what did I say? Hebrew 12. And I just thought that was something that was beautiful, how everything correlates, everything runs together. It is consistent, it is concise. The way things were done back then, when I say back then, I mean in the Old Testament, how the ceremonies and the rites were conducted, are now all transferred and hung on the back or on the shoulders of Yahushua. So everything else, it was through him. So our lives, the way we live to this day, fast forward to now, we follow him because he fulfilled it all. So we walk in his stead to the best of our ability. All right, I'm going to go straight to the point 12 and 24, where it talks about the sprinkling. Or maybe that was in the NLT. All right, 12 and 24. And I did mention about how the priest did it first for his sins, right, back in Leviticus. And on that screenshot, it shows the priest did it for his sins and then for everyone else. So we'll get 2 Samuel as well, because Yahushua, as Yahushua, there is no account of him sinning in the Bible. He was perfect, right? But he was Solomon before he was Yahushua. And hey, there are videos on that. You do your own research. You pray. You fast for the understanding, because it is there. You go do it. Let's see. 23, to the General Assembly of the Church Firstborn, which are written in heaven, and to God, the judge of all. Okay, 24. And to Yahushua, the mediator of the new covenant. Yeah, there we go. And to the blood of sprinkling that speaketh better things than that of Abel. All right, so there has always been a covenant. There has always been a priesthood. And as Cain tried to cut us off through Abel, the Lord graced us with Seth. And that allowed the continuing of our people, just as the remnant is going to allow the continuing of our people in this time. And as you see how things just repeat, it is a cycle. But it has always been about Yahushua. Always. Okay, so we'll go to 2 Samuel 7 and 14. Because remember, that priest, he did it for himself and then for the sins of the nation. And watch the correlation. Because we're going to read something in 2 Samuel, and then we'll go to the book of Hebrews, how I have that precept listed. Okay? God dog, I'm so excited. I can't figure out what I'm trying to do. All right, 7:14 and then Hebrews 7. All right, straight to the point. All right, this is Solomon. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men and with the stripes of the children of men. And there is no account of Solomon, as Solomon, getting any sort of punishment. And remember, he said, You can go to, I believe it's Psalm 91, where it says, and the Lord said unto my Lord, because that was David talking about Solomon, sit thou at my right hand until I make thy enemies my footstool. I believe that's Psalm 91. If not, just type in something like that, or make thy enemies thy footstool, and you'll find it. Okay? And now we'll go to Hebrews 7, because remember, Solomon died peacefully. Solomon did not get any beaten with the stripes of men. Hebrews 7, and I believe it's 27. All right. Oh, but we got 5, 11, 18, and 19. So there are certain things that I guess I saw in there. So let's see. Oh, and just solidifying the point. Okay, so about how the Levites, and then it was from the Levites to Yahushai, how we always had a mediator. Okay, so I'll read 5. And verily verily they that are of the sons of Levi, who received the office of the priesthood, have commanded to take tithes of the people according to the law, that is for their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham. But he who is descended not, counted from them, received the tithes of Abraham, and blessed him that has had the promises. And without all contradiction, the less is blessed of the better. So basically, he that does the blessing is more blessed than the blessee. All right, let's see. If therefore, verse 11, if therefore the perfection, focus that. If therefore the perfection were by the Levitical priesthood, for under the people received the law, what further need was there that another priest should arise from them, the order of Melchizedek, and not be called after the order of Aaron, right? So there was always going to be a need for Yahushua. It was always going to end with Yahushua. So the grand finale was always going to be about Yahushua, and everything that led up to it was just a shadow of things to come. Right? So for it was evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, which Yahushua was a Judite. All right, which tribe Moses spake nothing of concerning priesthood. Why? Because Moses was a Levite, and the priesthood was to the Levites, and in that old time. Let me get straight to the point. Because he died for his sins, remember, and then for the nation. Remember that. So verse 27, who needeth not daily, we'll go to 26. For such an high priest became us, who is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens, who needed not daily, as those high priests, to offer up sacrifices, first for his own sins, and then for the people's. For this he did once, and he offered up himself. For the law maketh men high priests which have infirmity, but the word of the oath which was since the law maketh the Son, who is consecrated forevermore. So basically, again, Yahushai, I actually read that wrong in my because this is talking about the priest that needed to do to offer up those sacrifices for his own sins and then for the people. Matter of fact, let me get it in how about this? Hebrews 7 and 27. This might make it a little bit better, because maybe I'm reading something wrong, but still, that does not change the fact that it began, all right, it was always meant to end with Yahushua. 7. All right, Melchizedek is greater than Abraham, right? Yahushua is like Melchizedek, or like Melchizedek, right? Okay, are you seeing the correlation? All right, you are a priest forever in the order of Melchizedek. That's going to be, it's talking about Yahushua. This new system was established with a solemn oath. Aaron's descendants became priests without such an oath, but there was an oath regarding Yahushua, for God said to him, the Lord has taken an oath and will not break his vow. You are a priest forever. Okay? Because of this oath, Yahushua is the one who guarantees this better covenant with Yahweh. So you see how this is, it was always about him. And I thought that when I was reading through this, that this was like one of the most beautiful things that I could have stumbled upon without hearing a lesson about it. It was just something that the Spirit gave to me. And the Wadi Hawabashimi outside, it was such a wonderful thing to come across. We'll just read through it. It's no biggie. We're going to read through it. There were many priests under the old system, for death prevented them from remaining in office, but because Yahushua lives forever, his priesthood lasts forever. And what else lasts forever? The kingdom, because the laws will be written in our inward parts. That means we don't go off. That means we don't get kicked out of the land, because that promise is tied to land. The land, the promised land, right? Therefore, he is able once and forever to save those who come to Yahweh through him. He lives forever to intercede with Yahweh on their behalf. He is the king of high priests, which we need because he is holy and blameless, unstained by sin. He had been set apart from sinners and had been given the highest place of honor in heaven. Unlike those other high priests, he did not need to offer sacrifices every day. They did this for their own sins and first, and then for the sins of the people. But Yahushua did this once and for all when he offered himself as the sacrifice for the people's sins. So it was his sprinkling of the blood that saved it, that was sufficient and covered everything else. So no longer will we need that sacrifice, or the animal sacrifice. No longer was that old covenant needed to be implemented, because one, we failed miserably. We failed, and Yahweh knew, and that's why he always had it in the plan to send his only begotten son that very last time when he came to die for our sins on the cross. He was perfect, he was blameless, and was an unspotted lamb. So again, call Allah Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. And this was something real quick that I wanted to touch on. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, we talked about that. Okay. So it has always been about Yahushai. All right. So with that being said, I pray that you were edified. Shalom.